Good evening, everyone. We're going to go ahead and get started. I'm Amanda Wheelock. I'm with the information team for the Rocky Mountain IMT-1. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining. We are really glad to have you here and learning about what's going on. We will also have folks watching later online. So for those folks that are online, if you have questions, once you're watching the recording, just go ahead and comment, and we'll get to them. A public information officer will get to them as soon as we can. For those of you here in person, please hold all your questions until the end. We've got a few different presenters tonight, as you can see on the agenda. And at the end, we'll have our closing remarks, and then we'll head out to the lobby so that we can kind of answer some of those questions in smaller groups. So we'll start off tonight with some opening comments from the Forest Supervisor of the Willamette National Forest, Dwayne Bishop.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Is that on? Yep, awesome. So hey, good morning, everybody, or good evening, everybody. I can't figure out which it is. Thank you for being here tonight. We're all here to talk about one common thing, and that is our love for the Willamette. And just want to acknowledge that we're all here to kind of get the backstory on what's happened, what's happening now, and then what's the plans for the future. So, just wanted to acknowledge everybody in the crowd, and then those online that will have questions, and we'll definitely answer them at the end of the show. Wanted to mention this is the 8th year of fire on the Willamette, significant fire, a big change. And so, the forest knows that, and I know the communities know that, of course, with the many lost homes and properties and just the many, changes that has happened on the forest, outfitters and guides losing days out on the forest or days on the river with their river raft. So, acknowledge that those adverse effects really ripple through our communities, and we all very much recognize that and try to minimize that. And then also for a lot of us, we've lost a lot of family time, family get-togethers, our favorite spots that we've gone to. For my family, 3 generations to the same place. And for many of you, there's that same effect that you've missed out on those opportunities, and we acknowledge that as well. So, tonight is a night of sharing information. We have 3 incident management teams here that have one that's been here quite a while, and they're going to be going home very, very shortly. They've done a phenomenal job on the forest. And then 2 teams that are new. One has been here just a couple of days, and one that's just here today. So this is going to be a great time tonight for getting information that's very relevant, and hopefully you can ask those questions at the end, and we'll go from there. So with that, I want to introduce Darren Cross. He's the agency administrator and district ranger for the McKenzie River Ranger District, and he'll be the North Zone agency administrator. Darren.
All right, thanks, Dwayne. Just want to recognize the Rocky Mountain Team 1 did an amazing job. They came up and they helped us in a pinch. They extended and got us through this gap where we didn't have teams that were here to fight fire. So I want to thank Dan Dallas and his team for that. And then I also want to welcome and make sure everybody understands that the California Team 13 came 2 days ago and is already in-briefed and is going to be taking those north fires, Slate, Pyramid, and Orr. And then I want to thank Sean Farrell, who's the outgoing agency administrator for the South, and welcome Carrie Otto, who's the incoming agency administrator for the South. So that's your leadership that we have here for these fires as we start managing those. I also want to acknowledge the communities that are impacted by these fires of Detroit up north, and then Sweet Home, McKenzie River, and Oak Ridge. I know that some of our teams are more visible, like in places like Oak Ridge, we're at the Hills Creek camp, and then other places like McKenzie River, where the team is managing from down here in Thurston, and we have a forward operating base up there at Strube Flat. So there's teams and firefighters spread out all over the place, but we want everybody to know that they're all doing that good work of aggressively fighting these fires and trying to keep them as small as possible. Also just want to recognize that even with these efforts of trying to keep these fires as small as possible, they probably will be, or they will be on the landscape for a long time. These Western Oregon fires, once they get established in Old Timber and Deep Duff, they don't go out until those season-ending events, which for us is a season-slowing event is mid-September. Season-ending event is the end of September. So you guys can all do the math of what that might entail. Also, that the closure orders, I just want to ask people to please respect the closure orders that we have in place. We're not doing those for any reason other than to keep the public safe and keep our firefighters safe. So just really important that people continue to respect those closure orders. And that's all I'll share with you tonight. You've got a good briefing coming up from all the different teams, and I look forward to talking to anybody in the briefings in the lobby after this. Thanks.
Thank you, Darren. And next we have Justin Conrad, who will do incident commander introductions, both from the Rocky Mountain team and the incoming California and Alaska teams.
Good evening, everyone. Justin Conrad, IC trainee, Rocky Mountain Area Team 1. First, I'd like to extend our thanks. As Rocky Mountain Team 1 is timing out and we've got 2 new teams coming in, just want to extend our thank you to all the communities that we've been able to serve since we've been here. Your welcome and your support throughout the process has just been incredible to us. With that, I'd like to introduce ICs from California Team 3. We got Josh Boehm. I'm going to introduce all the ICs, and then we'll have you come up, Josh, followed by Pete. Josh Boehm, we got Shannon Prather. Hopefully I said that right, Shannon. Michael Page as IC trainee, and IC trainee Oscar Vargas. And then moving to Alaska Team 3, we've got Pete Buteri and Jason Devich. I'd like to have the IC from Team 13, Josh Boehm, come on up.
So good evening. Just a couple things. Oscar's going to come up and talk a little bit about the fires and where we're at. But I just want to say thank you for the open arms that this community has extended to us. You know, we try to come into communities with as little disruption as possible. We don't like to come in like bulls in a ring. We really like to keep your day-to-day lives as normal as possible. And there's going to be some disruptions, right? I mean, there are big, dangerous fires out there that are going to take a long time to deal with. But for us, into your community, the open arms that we've received so far has been tremendous. And so I really want to say thank you to that, because we don't always get that, right? We show up sometimes where folks just don't want us there. And so that is not what we're experiencing here. So I really want to say thank you for that. You know, we're going to do everything we can to be as disruptive to your lives as possible. Just, you know, we don't want to do that to you folks. There's enough trauma from the past fires here. And so what we want to do is get in, get out, and be as least disruptive, get you back to normalcy as quickly as possible, and be as least intrusive as possible. And so one of the things that my team lives by, one of our mottos is leave it better than we found it. And so that includes with you all, the relationships that we have that have been built with the Rocky Mountains team. You know, we intend to carry that forward, and I'm sure just with the Alaska team coming in, they have the same intentions as well. So really just want to say thank you. If there's anything you guys ever need through this whole thing, you know, I've got a team of almost 100 people here. We're happy to answer questions. We're happy to help you. We're here to work with you and for you at the same time. Don't forget that this is a team effort. You're part of that team. This isn't an incident management team coming in to manage a fire. You are part of that team. And your expertise out here on the land, we need that. We need that to make sure that the right decisions are made, that could potentially have long-lasting effects on your lives and your families to come. And so we're here to improve that. We're here to make sure that your voices are heard. So if any time, you know where we're at, we're here. We're here about 20 hours a day, And so, you know, you're more than welcome to give us a call, get with my public information officer, my liaison officer, and we'd be happy to answer some questions for you. So, Oscar, if you'd like to come up and just give a little history, thank you.
Hello, everyone. Oscar Vargas, Incident Commander Trainee for California Team 13. So we've been here for about 3.5 days, and within the last 3.5 days, what we've been doing is transitioning, pretty much taking the torch that Team 1 had from the Rocky Mountains. We spent about a day and a half with them and a full day of shadowing them to provide a really smooth transition so there would be less disruption to the firefighters, the communities, and all the support staff that are managing the incidents we're managing. So our position now is we're managing the north part of the Willamette complex, which includes the fires of Slate, Ore, and Pyramid. So those are the fires that we're responsible for. So we're going to do everything in our power to keep them as small as possible. We know what the valleys at risk are, the homes, the communities, and the forest and everything else, the timberlands. It's totally clear for us what the priorities are. And we're going to do everything we can to keep those from being threatened any further. For now, the fire isn't super erratic or really moving much. It is still burning in some open areas with heavy fuels and, as you heard, from the forest. So we're keeping an eye on that and doing everything possible. We have hundreds of firefighters working day and night. Most of them working day. We have very few at night because of the safety factor, but we're not abandoning or avoiding any oversight at night. So we're working relentlessly to keep it where it is or as small as possible. So that's the highlight. The other part is we're super glad to be here. Just like I see Josh Boehm talked about, we're all one big team, and we're also consider ourselves as part of the community, right? We're guests, but we're part of your community. We have the ownership, and our goal is to leave everything better than we found it on the fire and support the communities. We can't do it without your support. So if there's anything you're seeing or anything that is on your mind, feel free to reach out. We are working with the teams to the south to make sure that we're coordinating as all these fires are affecting some communities in the middle. So we're working to have some seamless operations so that both teams meet the mission and help each other out to serve your communities. So again, thank you so much for having us here, and we look forward to doing our best to serve the forest and all the communities and everyone else that's affected by the fires that we're managing. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Oscar. Pete Buteri, Alaskan Team 3. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Just a little over a month ago, we were heavy in fire season up in Alaska and needing a helping hand, and we relied pretty heavily on resources from the Pacific Northwest and from other regions around the country to help manage those fires. And so I'm pleased to be able to kind of return that favor and come back down and help you guys in your time of need with Alaska Team 3 here. I'd like to be able to say that, you know, in our tenure here over the next couple of weeks that we'd be able to put these fires out for you. That's not going to be a reality, but I can commit to our team leaving you guys and these fires in a better place than they were when we got here. I'm looking forward to getting to know some of you folks in the community here. Our team was down a couple of years ago on the Cedar Creek fire. We had an opportunity. We were over on the Deschutes Forest for the most part. So I feel like I know a little bit about the area here in the communities, but I'm looking forward to learning more about what you guys have going on here, what's important to you. And I do believe that, you know, our primary goal here is to keep your community safe and keep your timber safe as well. So thanks, and looking forward to getting to know you folks over the next couple of weeks.
And now we'll have an operations update on Pyramid, Slate, and Ore fires from Rick Marinelli.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Rick Marinelli. I'm Team 13 Operations, so just going to give you a real quick update on the 3 fires that we're managing up in the north, starting with the Slate fire. So the Slate fire is a looking really good. No issues really to report on that fire. We inherited a really good product, and we're just continuing on with that, patrolling, mopping up, securing the lines. We're approaching 100% containment on that fire, so we're hoping in the next few days to scale that down into a more of a patrol status. We'll move down into pyramid fire. So the pyramid fire is also looking good. Not quite the same status as a slate fire, but it is also looking good. Going into a little more specifics, I know you can't see a whole lot on that map up there, but the west flank here, that's controlled by a series of dozer lines, roads, and hand lines, and everything's looking good on there. Controls are resources are continuing to patrol that, mop up, and secure, and just really secure that area there. As you turn the corner here and come from north to south, we were able to put hand line into the Pyramid Creek area and back up the other side, tying into other lines that run down south, and you can see this black line in that area towards that containment down there. Further down on the south end is our kind of last priority there. We're working on holding the fire on the middle fork of the Santiam River, along with some other creeks, and just using the river situation in there to keep fire spread to the south checked up. Have a hot shot crew in there today, finishing off one little last piece of hand line and hopefully kind of secure that up. But we will definitely have a presence out there for the next while there. So as we move down into the ore fire, down in the ore fire, starting kind of down here on the south end, we inherited a really great anchor point down there. Fire's been holding along that road system for quite a few days there on the 15 and the 1509 road. The fire does continue to progress. Is that my cutoff there? Gone over my time. The fire does continue to progress to the northwest, and not like Josh said or Oscar said, not really moving anywhere quick, but it is kind of chunking along in that area. The plan there is to take a hand line off of the 09 road to a dozer line, back to a series of roads, and burn that out over the next few days. The crews are putting the final touches on that line, and hopefully we'll have that operation going on and tied in within a few days. Once that's complete, that'll tie in line to about this area, and we're looking at lines to come in and link the 827 road to the 15 road, which is basically this area in here, and hopefully keep this footprint as small as we can. Didn't mention it, but on the pyramid fire and on this fire, we're working on secondary lines and contingency lines at the same time that we're working on the closer lines into the fire. Strategy is always to try to get in there as close as we can, but always have that backup plan and the backup to the backup plan going at the same time. So we're also working road systems to the north and even north of that. So send a report. Thank you.
Thank you. And now we'll have Pat Seekins giving an update on the Willamette complex fires.
All right, good evening. Pat Seekins, Operations with Rocky Mountain Area Team 1. Going to do an overview. We're going to start on the north end with the chalk fire up on the north end. Had a lot of really good progress over the last week or two since we've been here. So you can see that containment line here on the southeast corner. So a lot of really good work in there. With hand crews, some burnout operations over the last couple of weeks, so things are looking really good on the southeast corner there. Kind of continuing west, we're looking good here too. We don't have a black line here, but everything all the way around this west flank has been kind of critical moving forward to kind of lock that off with some indirect burnout operations. So away from the main fire's edge here, we had some existing road features we took advantage of. And crews and heavy equipment were prepping that for quite a while. And we were able to get some favorable conditions. And over the last 3 to 4 days, hand crews were able to get us good solid black lines. So we established firing operations over the last 2 days and were successful. The one great tool we currently have and we're going to be losing is a drone. So we've been doing aerial ignition. Also to add depth here to maintain containment and reduce any kind of potential for the fire wanting to move west or south here. So far everything's looking really good, all the way back to where they tied in yesterday and really overall on the north end too. So a lot of really good work got done here. It took some time, a lot of heavy equipment, and some favorable conditions, and things are looking overall pretty good up on the chalk fire. Once again, just wanted to highlight here, this has been one of our highest priority fires over the last couple of weeks, and felt like we put in all the effort we could with resources and prioritizing stuff on the chalk fire to kind of get us to the point we're at there. So I will touch briefly on the McKinley fire, smaller fire. That is actually fully contained now. So we've got hand line around there. It's kind of, it's small, but it's really steep. So that isn't full containment, even though it doesn't show black line on the map right here. So that's more or less in patrol status. Tire mount, more the same. Black line around everything. No issues or concerns. So more in patrol status and will be checked as needed. So overall, everything north of Westford and Oak Ridge is looking really good. Once again, priority fire, more or less locked in. And you can expect to see some additional containment moving forward over the next couple days. So let's move down south. All right, moving south of, once again, Westford and Oak Ridge, south of Highway 58 here. We'll go ahead and start on the coffee pot fire. Initially, this fire a couple weeks ago when we took over these fires was pretty active. It was wanting to move east and kind of south with our primary value down here with the timberlands. Sierra Pacific Industries was a high value, as well as to the north of Oak Ridge, of course. But with northwest winds, this fire wanted to move southeast. Once again, we were able to take advantage of some road systems. We were able to acquire all the heavy equipment needs, and we're able to prep out ahead of that fire and take advantage of good opportunities with some indirect burnout operations, firing along the south end as well as the north end here. And we're able to lock it off to the lake system and the road system on the west side where you see all our containment there. Over the last couple days, we're able to lock off the east side and take advantage of good opportunities. We were waiting for a couple more crews, and we were able to establish a shift of folks to burn at night and to take advantage of favorable conditions to lock off this east side. So overall, the entire coffee pot does have existing line around it where we utilize existing roads as control lines, and fire and operations were successful. So firefighters will continue to patrol this with engines and hand crews over the next couple of days, but overall looking really good on coffee pot. Right, moving east over to the Moss Mountain fire. This fire's kind of stayed put for a while. It's some steep, rugged terrain in here, but it really didn't have the alignment for that fire to really move and threaten anything. So it bought us some time to focus over here on our suppression efforts. But now Moss Mountain is becoming a priority. The fire did move south yesterday and this morning, and it did bump our indirect control feature that we've been prepping for over a week now, which actually gives us an opportunity to be a little more aggressive now and grab this south end and really start to get somewhat of an anchor point to start from. So a little more fire activity following to the south. Right here, it's been checked up for a while with some north-facing slope stuff and a field transition. So things are staying put for now, but we know Moss Mountain is going to be a focus in the coming days. So sliding to the southeast, the 217 fire, no issues or concerns, full containment there. We had smoke jumpers on that for over almost 2 weeks and did a lot of really good work in here. We were able to capitalize on direct tactics here and had a good water source to really put a lot of water on that fire and lock it in. So moving down to the 208 fire, this is well out in the wilderness, high elevation, so it's way up there. There is some natural barriers on the east side as well as the north side that's been keeping that fire somewhat in check. As you go off to the west, we are seeing a little more growth over the last couple of days to the west, but it really doesn't want to get up and run, and really no issues of concerns or threat to any kind of values at this point. So that's where we're at on 208, and that takes care of the south end.
Thank you so much, Pat. Carolyn Corey will have an air quality update for us.
Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Carolyn Corey. I'm an air resource advisor, and I actually work for both teams. So I'm doing the air quality, the smoke forecasts for both the north zone and the south zone. So it's the Slate, the Pyramid, the Ore, and then all of the Willamette complex. And what an air resource advisor does is we try to produce a forecast to communities that we think are going to be impacted by the fire. So it may not be within the fire perimeter or right next to it, but it may be a little further out. So we draw a box around an area that we think is going to have impacts. Then we gather data. We have models that run every night that look at what smoked the day before. We have monitors out there. We have the incident meteorologist that provides us weather data, and then we have the fire behavior analyst who also helps me gather all the data that I think, and I try to put a forecast out by 8 every morning. So that forecast will then get posted on this website. So it's fire.airnow.gov, or super easy if you Google fire and smoke map, if you can't remember the name, it's gonna pop up fire.airnow.gov, and you're gonna see this map. So I wanted to show you a little bit how this works. If you're not familiar with this map, or you can get it on your phone, you can do it on your computer. When you first put it in, it pops up the map of the whole United States. And then you'll see up here in the Northwest, there's these little gray boxes. I don't know if you can see that well, but there's these little gray boxes, and you're gonna click on, you'll zoom in to where those boxes are. So I'm gonna ask you to go to the next slide. So this is the box that I've been forecasting every day. So it starts, we have Eugene over here on the far west. We have Bend over there on the far east, and then we go all the way up to Detroit. Thank you, Detroit. And then we go all the way down to Lapine and Oak Ridge. And then we have stuff in the middle. So all those little dots you see, those are actually monitors that are out there. So some are permanent monitors, some are temporary monitors, some are called purple airs. So we have, this is the box, and then if you go to the next slide, you click on that box, and it pops up the forecast. So this forecast is something, again, it shows over here kind of the communities that we have put in our box to try to cover the whole area. And then they have different colors. And so green is always good, and red and purple. Even though purple's a beautiful color, it's not necessarily purple if you see it on this map. So we have, so this would have been this morning's forecast, which had, and typically where we have Detroit, Sweet Home, and Springfield, it's been green since I've been here about 6 days, it's been green most of that time. And then Bend and Sisters, they've been kind of on the yellow, which is moderate, and then the stuff in the middle, it's been hit or miss. Mackenzie and Oak Ridge. Oak Ridge it's always a hit, it seems like. But then down here, there's these tabs. So these tabs, if a person wanted to know a little bit more about that particular area, they're going to click on that tab. And I did screenshots because someone told me Murphy's Law, if I tried to do it live, it would not work, or it would embarrass me. So I didn't want to be embarrassed. So next slide, say we clicked on Mackenzie. So then when you click on Mackenzie, it's going to pull up another tab. And this tab is going to have a little more detail. So for example, if you wanted to know a time of day when you could go out, and if I'm really good, I'll get it, but I can't guarantee that. But sometimes I look at the model and I think, well, it looks like there's going to be a little clearing right when the inversion lifts, maybe 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. I'm not going to ever put an hour on there, but I would say maybe early afternoon. So if you wanted to know if you want to take grandma out for a walk, and she always goes for a walk at the evening, you might say, yeah, I think I might take her in the morning tomorrow because the morning might be a little better. And then I try to gauge it like what tomorrow might be based on what things are looking like with the weather it's forecast for the next few days. So I click on Mackenzie, you get that, and then next slide, please. If you scroll to the bottom under Mackenzie, it's going to show a little bit of trend data at the bottom. So then you'll have the different days, and you can see there's days when it's definitely better, and then days when it's worse. And so those days, you can tell the time of day. If you look over here, it has how much it is, but if you click a little bit further on those, it'll tell you what time of day that is. Okay, next slide. And then that kind of covers what the Outlook has. But what I did want to show you is that there's a lot of smoke out there. So I know sometimes you're sitting in the smoke and you can't see where the plume is and you think it's all from your fire, but I just wanted to show you, I took this shot last night. I even put the website on there. It's a GOES 18 satellite. Colorado State puts this out. It actually does a really cool loop if you ever want to see it. But it shows the different fires, you know, up there in Washington. I just tried to name as many as I could. So you see all of ours here. The Pyramid's putting out, yesterday just a little bit of smoke, the ore a little bit, chalk, not so much. A coffee pot is kind of buried under that homestead complex, which is just adjacent to us on the Umpqua. And then Park down there hopefully never turns and blows this way. But anyways, I just wanted to share that with you. I'll be around afterwards if you have any questions.
Thank you, Carolyn. We have closing comments from Dan Dallas, the incident commander for the Rocky Mountain team.
Carolyn, I'm going to steal that from you, put a little mystery and drama in there. Cottage Grove, Bend. We're not sure. That's a cool map. They do some really good work. Again, I'm Dan Dallas. I'm the incident commander for Rocky Mountain Incident Management Team 1. It's warm. I see people doing this, so I'll be quick. I just wanted to let people know, it sounds like there's probably been lots of fire experience with all the friends and neighbors and just people walking around here. So, but the reason we're here, the reason California 13's here, the reason Alaska 3's here, Northwest 7 before us, and California 5. The bottom line, Dwayne, you heard from Dwayne, you've heard from the rangers and the line officers from the Willamette National Forest, but the bottom line is their ability to manage the situation has been exceeded. It's as fundamental as that. That's why we're here. We kind of just augment their workforce. We become part of their workforce. Dwayne delegates authority to us and that sort of stuff. So just want to make sure, not to be gloom and doom, but you have a long summer ahead of you. You're just coming into what's normally their fire season. There's going to be smoke and that sort of stuff. There's going to be the grass and brush that's green right now up in the forest is going to turn brown, and instead of being a hindrance to fire, it's going to be it's going to be receptive to fire. So there's more of this to come. I'm sure this is not the last public meeting by any means. So probably be a little lightning, maybe an east wind. Hope it's nothing like the Labor Day fires that you had 3 years ago. We were here just right next door. This same team was on, we were in command of Lion's Head. So with that, I'll leave it at that, but certainly glad that California 13 and Alaska 3 are here. We did, thanks for the thanks, but we did extend a few days, but simple as that. That's what we do. We're here to help, and we're here to using Josh as we try and slide in unobtrusively, and we try and slide right out the same way. So, thanks. And then one last thing, I have a request. So at any point in time in this world, this little fire culture we have, there's maybe 50 of us that are active. There's 4 of them there, 2 of them there. Mark, we got another deputy that's up there, so somewhere around 50 incident commanders in the world at any point in time. I just want to tell everybody, and please, if you would, give them a round of applause. I just signed a book last night that said we were just joined by Justin Conrad. So congratulations, Justin. So with that, it's back to you, Amanda.
Thank you, Dan, and thank you, Justin, also for your service. We also actually have a presentation by Oak Ridge Mayor Brian Kutcher.
Hey folks, Brian Kutchen, the mayor of Oak Ridge. I'm here primarily to deliver a letter of appreciation to the team. But, I was sitting on my back porch on July 18th, enjoying the cool weather, and next thing you know, you're surrounded by 7 fires. The district ranger, Cameron, did what he could with the resources he had, but then Rocky Mountain Complex Incident Management Team 1 rolled in, created a solid plan, and executed on that plan. And from my layman's perspective, I think they've set California and Alaska teams up for success. And to both of you teams, welcome. But what I did want to do is read the letter of appreciation and give a certificate, if I could. So the letter is addressed to the Incident Commander Dallas. However, we all know that it's a team effort, and that includes ops, safety, metro, public information, and the guys that really make it work is finance and logistics. So you can't do it without them. But the letter reads, Dear Mr. Dallas, on behalf of the City of Oak Ridge, I am writing to express our sincere gratitude for Rocky Mountain's CIMT-1's outstanding actions during the recent Willamette Forest Complex fires. Your team's expertise, professionalism, and dedication were instrumental in managing this challenging incident. The complex nature of these fires required a coordinated and strategic response, and your team delivered exactly that. Your ability to quickly assess the situation, develop effective action plans, and coordinate resources was truly impressive. Your seamless integration of your team with local agencies and communities played a crucial role in our collective efforts to protect lives, property, and natural resources. We particularly appreciated your team's clear communication and transparency throughout the incident, the efficient allocation and management of resources, your emphasis on firefighter and public safety, and the respect and consideration shown to local communities and stakeholders. Your efforts have not gone unnoticed, and the impact of your work will be felt long after the smoke is cleared. The Rocky Mountain Complex Incident Management Team has once again demonstrated why it is considered one of the best in the nation. Thank you for your service and commitment to excellence in wildland fire management. We are fortunate to have your support during this challenging time. So what I'd like to do is present a certificate to the incident commanders, if Justin and Dan come up. Also included is the only bling that the City of Oak Ridge has, and that's a pin that you can put on your Cities We Saved wall, and as well. So it's just a certificate given by the City of Oak Ridge with sincere gratitude for your outstanding support during the 2024 Willamette Forest Complex fires.
Very good. Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. Justice, thank you very much. Yep. And here you go.
Thank you. Very much appreciated.
All right, thank you so much, Mayor Kutcher, and thank you everyone for joining us tonight. Again, feel free to meet us out in the lobby to ask questions, and those of you watching online, feel free to comment. And just thanks again for taking an interest, and we appreciate your time. Thank you.